Hello my lovelies, Robbie here again from Kickbackgarage. Now in this video, we'll be carrying on with the Series 1 build. Exciting stuff. Grab a coffee. I'll see you after the intro. Messing around with these cameras, batteries going flat.
Markerte det med regn. Alle sprang I lag og ville komme under tak. Ingen av oss merket at du hadde falt I frak. Hvorfor valgte du å dra? Hvem I faen kunne se den komme? Da høsten tok over, sa vi hadde bra til oss sommer.
Right, so first job of the day is to strip this top end. Now, I have cheated a little bit, and I have started, because what I wanted to do, to try and save myself a little bit of work, that is check the squish. And I had up the top, I have put some solder in there, and alarmingly, I'm getting a reading of 90.97 on a TS1. Most builds, really, I like to. It's a bit up and down, I suppose. Just over 1 there, and in the middle. Point. Can you see that? What's it say? 0.94, which is that's too tight. What I did notice. Come here, lad. Come a bit closer. Have a little bit of a gange. Have a gange. What I did notice when I took off the top is, and a very nice top that is as well. It's a bit posh. I like posh parts. This is a bit of a disaster. I'm just going to do some wobbly cam so you can have a look. I can't get it up high enough there to have a look. What's actually happened here, luckily he hasn't run this that much, because what's happened here is he's got this thin head gasket on the top here. Oh, and it's sort of jammed there. And if you have a look, oh, you little bugger, you little bugger. Right, there we go. So what I wanted to show you is, you can see in this outside edge here that the piston has actually been hitting. So this is this is a 200 head gasket, and this is a 225. It could also be that it was skew width, because it's only on this half here. So what I think I want to do now is, I wonder if I want to try and test the squish without this head gasket, because if it was touching this head gasket, the wire, it'd give me a wrong reading. So I think I'll do that. Right, I've torqued down the head to 23 Newton meter, which is my lucky number, and I'm just gonna check the squish. Oh, it's very tight. That's very tight. Ugh. Yeah, I can't even get that round. So I'm going to have to do something about the squish there. I'm going to have to reset this. I think maybe, yeah. What I'll have to do really is check the port timings, I think. Absolutely decimated that that solder in there. So it's definitely too tight. I think I'm just going to have to lift it up and see what measure, if I can get it loose, that is. First, I think I'll just have a check out the ports. I like to have, on the TS1, I like to have them to line up with the bottom of the port. They don't do that. They're a little bit tall, I reckon, at bottom dead center. Can I get this off? Yes, I can. The top was put on dry. It wasn't blowing anywhere, so that's good. But I prefer to have a bit of sealant on them. There you go. Something is amiss here. Right. So the barrel looks good. It's only been run up and down the road. Looks brand new, actually. So that's good. That's money saved. It has an array of gaskets on the bottom here. I'd like to know what they are. Why so many gaskets? I might have to actually, yeah, I'll have a look at that afterwards. For some strange reason, I can't get bottom dead center. What I think has happened is when I did the squish test, but I think I clipped off a little bit, a piece, and it's fallen down into the bottom of the crankshaft, because when I get to the bottom of bottom dead center, it went round now. Okay, and it stops there. I think I'm gonna have to whip off this piston. Oh, blimey. Let's take that out. My eyesight is failing me. Right, so interestingly, this is a BGM piston. And it looks a bit different than what the ones that I've seen. I hope these aren't the recall pistons. I don't think they are. And I really need to check that ring gap, because there's a lot of people, being general here, they don't really check the ring gap that well, but it doesn't look too bad. I'll have a look at that afterwards. Piston looks nice. Windows lad. The conrod is stopping at the bottom of the engine there, so I'm really gonna have to take off the flywheel and take out the maghouse and have a look. One thing to note on this, I'm really pleased to say, is because this is a new sill case, or at least it was new when it was built, all the threads and everything up to now have been really nice. I'm not too keen on those studs, mind. They're a bit fat for my liking. I'm just easing off the maghouse here. See if it reveals anything. The starter, absolutely perfect, brand new. The flywheel, absolutely no problems with that either. It's not been rubbing. There was a generation of BGM starters that were machined off center. I had a problem with one of those at some point, I remember, but it wasn't this one, because this has been running and there was no signs of it marring the flywheel. And as you can see, I don't use T-bars. I just use, because I think the quality of the ones that I've had have been really poor. That was the maghouse gasket, that's died. See if we can get this off. So what I think I'm going to do with this is, if everything looks okay, I want to just change the main crankshaft seals. I'm going to not change the one on the outside there, because sometimes you have to kill the bearings to get them out. There you go. She's off. She looks very pretty. Ooh. Is that a... I think that's a BGM crankshaft. I'm not sure what grease has been used here, but there's not a lot in there. So that's something I'm going to have to do. So I'll take out this seal here, fit a new one, and grease that up. That should be good to go. Let me take out those first. My screws. And then we'll whip out the crankshaft. So when you remove your crankshaft, use correct tools to push it through the bearings so that you don't bend the bugger. There we go. Got it. Yeah, it's a BGM item. Very nice. Right, that is the crankshaft back in. And then I just have to replace the mag house again before I can start building the top end. Now, I'm really glad that I checked the seals, because as you can see, it was the good old Rolf seals. Not too good actually if you're driving around with E10 petrol, which we do here. So yeah, that was a bit of a good one really. That I checked that. So it wasn't all for nothing, and yeah, I'm not sure. One niggle at least is the fact that it had way too little squish. So what I'm going to do after I've had a good night's kip, it's the middle of the night now, I think it's about 1 o'clock in the night, is by the magic of internet, we'll suddenly have a look at the top end of this. Right, by the magic of internet, I am now activated like a Duracell bunny after 7 hours of good kip. Right, what I'm trying to work out here now is the packers I want to use. Now, I've got an array of packers here, but I thought I'd run you through. I've wrote it down on a little bit of cardboard here so that I don't waffle too much. But the crankshaft on this is 60 stroke, and that gives me 2 extra millimeters, right? Wrong. Because the crankshaft is round, that actually just gives you 1 millimeter up and 1 millimeter down more of stroke. The rod itself is 110, and compared to the original Type 57, it gives you 3 millimeters extra. So the whole length of the assembly is going to be 4 millimeters taller. Now, I'm thinking the TS1 can be a revy kit, but you can make it pretty usable. And because I've got extra stroke here to play with, it means that I can hunt a little bit of that mid-range that they normally lack if you set them up revy. So my thinking is, if I fit a 3 millimeter base gasket, which I've got, that will effectively lower the ports by 1 millimeter. And if I fit a 1.5 millimeter head gasket, that should give me somewhere in the region of 1.23, something like that in Squish. I also have a head gasket that's 1.3. That might work, because as it stood at the moment when I took it apart last night, it had a 3 millimeter base pack here, this one, but it also had paper gaskets on either side. As you can see, that one's still stuck on there. How much does that give me? I think that's probably about 4 millimeter. Wouldn't surprise me. Let's have a look what she says. Yeah, almost 4. And it had a thin head gasket, which is probably about 4.5, just under. And actually, I think if my calculations are correct, if I use the 1.5, then I'll actually get 1.1 squish, which would be absolutely perfect. Right, let me throw this together and I'll tell you how it turned out. .23 Newton meter, if you need to know. Let's see. No! No! 0 squish, so it's at least over 2 millimeters. I forgot to bloody put the solder in the top. So try again, shall we? Maybe my calculations were actually right. So I have took off the top, put some solder in there, twisted solder. That could be a band name, couldn't it? Twisted solder. You heard it here first, chaps. Right, let's see how it goes now. Oh, that could be quite tight. Let's see. Oh, there you go. Ooh, exciting. That actually looks a bit tight, which is actually the best scenario of the two, because this is a 1.3 head gasket and I've got a 1.5. So let's see what the measurement tells me. Ooh. Yeah, that's that's 0.97, 0.98, 0.99. So it does look like I need to fit the slightly fatter head gasket. Right, I've just fit the 1.5 head gasket. That's going to give me more squish. I just hope it's not too much, because otherwise I'm in a bit of a pickle on how I'm going to try and sort this out without pulling my pour timings off whack. Oh, I bet you're that, sir, is bang on. Can you see it? 1.13. Well within my safety zone, but without lowering the compression too much. Problem with lowering the compression too much, a lot of people think that's a good thing, but it can cause your engine to go really hot. Another thing that I've done while I had the camera turned off is I have made a slot in my head. Can you see that? So that I can fit a temperature gauge on top of the stud there. Now I've placed it there because that means I can use the same hole out of the head cowl as the plug. And that also saves me from faffing around trying to mess around with that under the plug or over the plug or whatever it is. So that's sort of not in the way. And the reason why I have fit that is because you chaps have actually funded a SIP Speedo. So that's going to be a really interesting video coming up in the near future. It takes a couple of weeks before I get that money, by the way. So it does delay the project a little bit, but anything to see Rob in agony. So that should be interesting. Right, last job of the day, I reckon. This is the gorgeous stainless steel manifold for the Advanti ST, Xbox ST, or whatever it's called. Something like that. And I have got a standard type exhaust stub for this. What I thought I'd do here is convert that one, which is BGM item. It's a little bit too fat, so it won't go in. And what I thought I'd do, I measured down to the flange in there. Can you see that? There's a flange. You can't really see it, can you? There's a flange in there that the exhaust sits on, like so. Although this is really loosely fitting. I think I'll like a tighter fit than that. I'm going to measure the depth of that and cut the piece there. But first, I really need to flatten it off. Now, all exhaust flange, I don't care who you buy them from. I've never had one that's been completely flat at the bottom there. And if you flatten it, you can do that on a file, on a big bastard file, actually, diagonally. It takes ages. I tend to throw them in the lathe now that I'm a big boy and got a lathe. If you look at this, lad. I think you can see that, right? This is a completely flat surface. See that movement? It's quite a bit on the one side. You can rock it. If you put it on a flat surface, vice, piece of glass, whatever it is, then and try and rock it, you'll soon find out there is some discrepancies there. So that's the first job, flatten off the bottom surface. I was a bit brutal there, but I've not got much time this evening. Right, what I've done now, I've determined the depth of the exhaust where I need to make the little flange on the flange. The flange on the flange. And I've just made a little cut there, just so that I know, not sure if you can see it, as usual. But I've just made a little cut there, and so just as a guide, so I know how far I have to go. And then I'll measure in my, set my lathe and just give it a quick blast. And I'll show you how it looks when we're done. And here it is, the finished article. As you can see here, I can't provoke any rocking in any direction, which is good. And I've cut a little flange. As you can see, it's not a lot I had to take off, but now it fits a little bit tighter than the original article, and I went at a much slower speed on this cut as well, because that slightly rough surface will let some sealer adhere. And as you can see, it's a little bit tighter. There you go. Perfect. That's going to be really good, I reckon. Good stuff.